Good morning. Good morning. Happy almost Christmas. Oh my goodness. So I'm popping on here. So let's see. Quicker and down. Got it. Popping on here to say good morning, and I hope everybody is ready for the holiday as it stands, and you've got everybody coming in town to see you. Things are so much different now, right, than they've ever been before, and how we are showing up in the world. And something, hit me last night when John and I got home from visiting his dad and his stepmom, and we had a beautiful day. They live about 2.5 hours away. Just driving home and thinking about, families of origin. His dad turned 80 this year, and the kids got together, and they actually put together this really awesome book. It's a big photo book that I'm sure everybody's seen, but it was very, very thick with all these different memories of his 80 years of being here on the planet. And it was just so lovely, watching Larry go over as his dad, going through this book with us, and how proud he was of his lineage, and how proud he is of his children, and how proud he is of his parents' land, and how proud he is of the grandchildren. And it really goes back when we're all getting together with our family and thinking about, like, how can we ask better questions and get to know them better. And I know John and I talked about legacy questions and things that you can ask, but as I titled this, I'm not good enough, that comes from a place of, and I'll get to the point of the story, but I'm not good enough can come from this place that we're all subconsciously thinking, am I good enough? Am I not good enough? And am I going to lose love? And so the key is to be able to take a step back, look at the situation, and obviously we all know that we are. But as I was watching Larry go through this book with such pride, and thinking about everything that he's gone through in his 80 or so years. Hi there. In his 80 or so years, he was just, we were talking about that, about not necessarily that he didn't think he was good enough, but hi, Linda, but that he really he was so proud of where he came from. And so, as Tony Robbins talks about, these constant fear of we're not good enough and that we don't belong or that we might be rejected, as we're sitting there with our family, being blessed that we're with our family, there still can be a threat subconsciously of, do we belong here? Where did I come from? How could those be my parents? Is that really my brother? Did we come from the same womb? Those kind of things. And so, how can we actually really show up very consciously and just with radical acceptance? And so, am I good enough? I mean, of course I'm good enough, right? I mean, I'm like, God made me. But as I sat there in this and just observing like I like to do and taking it all in, I'm curious for all of you as you are, whether you're hosting your family, whether you're doing a Zoom holiday, whether you are showing up and, you're doing what you've always done, when those feelings of, why didn't I get a Christmas card from them? Or why didn't I get invited here? Or maybe you've had a line of demarcation where you set some really hard boundaries with a partner or your partner's family, or maybe with a friend. Even though you may be honoring your boundary, and I'm speaking for myself, it still doesn't mean that it feels good when relationships change. And so, to really accept that, sometimes the voice in my head is going to tell me that I'm not good enough. And sometimes I'm going to feel like I don't belong. And sometimes I'm going to feel rejected. It doesn't mean that I'm not. And so I know that's like, no duh, right? Right. Of course we know that we're a child of God, and we know that we're good enough. But to acknowledge that this is actually going to happen, to acknowledge that, that is going to creep in, and then to actually be very, very aware. Now, for many of those that are walking around unconscious, they will allow these emotions to come in and actually really get them down. And so the key is to be really practiced. And you've heard John and I talk about this over this last year about what exactly practiced is. And that could be meditating. It could be, for women, it's going to be movement. Anything that's going to allow you to really acknowledge, who you really are and the emotions that come up. Monday mornings are some of my favorite mornings. I start, hi Susie, hi Linda. I start my mornings off with, on Monday at 7 with one of my favorite, one-on-one clients, and we work with their family. Just love her family, love her boys, and she's just such a love. And hi Suzanne, what happens with her is that we get together and we assess, like what we did today is assess the entire year about how far she's come and how, she doesn't actually operate. Hi, Elodie. She doesn't operate from a place of scarcity. Now, when she actually is parenting and she's showing up for her husband and she's showing up for her extended family, she really, after doing this work with me for the last 9 months or so, is coming from a place of fullness. And when you come from a place of fullness, that's when your king energy, your queen energy for the ladies in the house is going to show up. And so there's a sense of discernment. So yes, the I'm not good enough it will pop up. It whack-a-moles, right? And then the subconscious of maybe I don't belong or you're feeling rejected will pop up. And when you come from a place of fullness, what happens is that it's like, it's acceptance that, yeah, this is a feeling I'm feeling. This is a situation that I'm in right now, but it isn't going to be forever. And so I had such fun with her this morning as, we were talking about the year coming up and our plans for the new year together with us working together. But really, I had to pump the brakes and slow down and go, let's talk about how far you've come. Let's talk about the way that your kids are looking at you. Let's talk about the way your husband's looking at you. Let's talk about how you are handling, some of these hiccups that have happened, for this whole COVID, and as she's homeschooling now. I mean, how have you pivoted? Because that's key. Is that how are you pivoting in those moments when it's not showing up the way you thought it was going to? So, and I apologize, there's a camera here and there's a camera here, so I'm not quite sure where I'm looking. But I just felt really compelled to go back to the basics of understanding the voice in the head that will actually let you think that you're not good enough. That the bitch in your head that's going to say that, they don't love you. Or, you feel rejected because it's not the way it was. And I'm going to ask all of you to actually level up a little bit. It's okay to feel the feelings, but then to actually Google map it, go up for some of the girls on here right now that are students of mine. To actually go above it, see it for what it is. Realize everybody's showing up probably from those two base fears as well, where they're not good enough and they're a fear of being rejected. And then from there, how can you blast yourself and the situation and them with love? As I go back to this client that I mentioned that we have our 7 o'clock Monday calls, for her to be able to assess and see all the places where she's been blasting, people with love. Yes, Linda, level up with love. Level up with love, 100%. There's something beautiful about it. It's so basic, and it's not easy to do. It really isn't easy to do. And the time of crisis when we're in a fight or flight space. Fight or flight is going to come in when we don't feel loved, when we feel judged, when we feel rejected. And that's why I cannot encourage you enough to be in practice. Which is where, women that are working with you now, whether one-on-one or sisterhood, they are very practiced up to this point. It does not mean they're not going to have arguments with their kids or their partners. They may decide they want to shift their careers or whatever it is. But the point is that the more you train your nervous system to be able to handle those moments of hiccup, the better you're going to be. John and I actually had a little bit of a tiff. Imagine that, a few minutes ago. And normally we would go on live together sometimes, right? And he looked at me, he's like, I'm pumping the brakes. I need to take a break. And you go on by yourself. It's fine. So in the past, and way past ago, when I was living in my wound, living in my childhood wound, living in the wound of my dad not being there when he left me at 12. I'm not booing and hooing. What I'm saying is subconsciously, I would go back to that place of daddy leaving and me being super responsible and me worried about my mom not loving me for who I was, all that stuff. There was a time John and I could have had a tiff and he would have said, go on without me. I need a few minutes. I would have felt so scared. I mean, seriously, like he's going to leave me, or, or I don't want to be with him. I mean, quite honestly, if I'm really honest, I realize now, the more I do some of this work, is that I realize I was the one that probably would drop and go, I don't want to do this anymore. And I don't know if any of you can relate when our emotions are heightened and when our senses are heightened. We say and do things that we probably don't really mean, but we're protecting ourselves. And we're like little kids sometimes. And I am probably the best at this, if you want to know the truth. And so anyway, but I'm very proud of myself. And then when we're done with this, and he's probably not watching because he's a little frustrated with me, I'll go in there and give him some love. And I will apologize for being really bitchy this morning. I walked in and I was celebrating something. I didn't get the response that I wanted, and he was in work mode. I was in work mode. And remember, ladies, when we're in our masculine and we face the men in our life with their masculine, polarity can just be like, wah, wah. It's like Charlie Brown teacher. And so, and then I got frustrated because I'm like, I just want to be a mom and a wife this week. And I want to talk about Christmas and I don't want to work. And yeah, that was me this morning. So I'm rambling, but I actually have a feeling that the ladies watching know exactly what I'm talking about. And for any of the men, they're like, holy crap, that all goes on in their head. I can't even imagine. So ladies, if you can relate to that, I am, oh, hey, Elodie. Yes, right? It's like, it's all of it. Want my son to have a great Thanksgiving, even though I wasn't invited. I'm reading Suzanne's response. I see the pics and it hurt, but then I remember I love them and I'm glad they got to spend time together. Now I'm invited to my brother's tomorrow night. See, that's it. And Suzanne, I know that was not easy for you. I know that wasn't easy for you at first, but that's when we talk about the 3 stages of communication. And for any of you that are interested in, working with me, we really go deeper into that space. Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that. Is that when we really are just looking at how somebody else's actions are affecting us, that is baby love. That's stage 1 communication. Stage 2 is going to be that space where we can really, have a conversation and see like, okay, I can understand it. Kind of like what, Suzanne's talking about here. She was able to go, wait a minute, pump the brakes. I see love here. This is beautiful. They got to spend time together. And the next stage, how you really level it up, is you like, what would God want right now? And so that's where she's operating now. And then what happens is it assuages that feeling of not being good enough. It assuages the space of not belonging. But what I love about what Suzanne pointed out here, and she is a student of mine and she's very practiced, after working with me for almost a year now, is that she allowed herself to feel the feelings. And when you allow yourself to feel it, it will move through you. And especially for the women out there, I love our sisterhood. I love my Sacred She community because we teach women how to actually honor their emotions, even when they're disempowering. Because if you actually squash them, they will pop up someplace else. And you probably will end up taking it out on someone. Maybe yourself. That's where, you'll see, I'll say teenagers, but there are some adults who will self-mutilate. Maybe you have an eating disorder. Maybe you want to sabotage your relationship. So the more that you can actually feel into the emotions, the better. So I need to take a step back and go, where could I have done that better this morning? And the truth is, I could have gotten up earlier. I could have gotten up a little bit earlier and moved my body before I had my call. And then that way I was full. And so I show up for the day in a space of fullness. But the truth is I stayed up really late last night prepping for the week, reading, and I didn't do what I normally do, which is to get up in the morning pretty early and practice. And when I say practice, move my body, be in meditation, and all of that. So I'm calling my own foul for a lot of you women who actually may be watching this and actually work with me. I mean, it's not always perfect. It just isn't. So, but I see what happened today is that, John and I took it out on each other. And I'm also going to celebrate too, because there really is a time I would have canceled the live. I would have gone in there and wanted to talk it out for hours to make sure that we were okay. And coming from a place of scarcity and insecurity, and I don't live there anymore. It doesn't mean that it doesn't pop up sometimes, because it does. But I know who I am, and it has nothing to do with John. It has to do with who I am and the healing work that I've done. And I've rewired this nervous system to know that I don't have to operate from a place of scarcity, or I don't have to get jazzed for being rejected. So if any of that makes sense, I'm so curious if y'all want to actually comment. I can extrapolate on that. But I love how active y'all have been, and this is a beautiful week. It's time to be into this beautiful space that we're in. I don't know if any of y'all been following, but tonight, Saturn and Pluto are going to cross, and it's supposed to be like this beautiful, beautiful space. I think it's an hour after the sun sets. You're supposed to be able to see this, and it's supposed to assimilate the Star of Bethlehem. And so I won't go into the background of all the astrology behind it and all of that. That's up to you. If you want to believe it, you want to go research it. But just know, if you look up in the sky, apparently it's supposed to be really beautiful, and I can't wait to see it. I know John and I were walking the dogs the other day, and there was this beautiful here in St. Pete. The moon was here. The sky was almost a purple color. Moon was here. Pluto and Saturn were like right here, separated. And there was this gorgeous pink, like jet stream it was bizarre. It was like a chute that went down like this. And it was going right through Pluto and Saturn. And then I actually took a picture of it. I may post it here so y'all can see it. But anyway, tonight, Saturn and Pluto, they cross. And it's supposed to be a stunning scene. Apparently, it's supposed to be what the angels and the wise men saw when they were looking for Jesus. That's great. Oh, Tammy said, thank you, Tammy. That means the world to me. I love it when my craziness can actually touch someone. I mean, I just... this is the real deal. I mean, I'm not, it's not all polished all the time, and nor should it be, right? Then we're not relatable. So thank you for that, Tammy. Tammy, you should come join the sisterhood. We would love to have someone with your spunk and fire in there for sure. So anyway, I appreciate you guys, and we will not be on Wednesday, but we're here, and love to hear from you. Any topics, anything that's coming up, please send it to us. I am looking so forward to next year and all the people that we're touching in our community. John and I are, and again, give yourself the gift of the sisterhood. Please come and join that. Please come and let's talk and see if the sisterhood is a good fit for you. Tammy, a lot of the women that are on right now, have been in my sisterhood program. Some of them are in my advanced program, or they're one-on-one clients of mine. And we really do it's a beautiful way of taking the masculine and the feminine energies that live in all of us. And as women right now, especially out there in the world, we want to be able to live and walk in our feminine, but use our masculine when we need to, and we do. So if you're interested, please message me, and we'll set up a quick call and we can talk about it. I love just popping on, and Elodie, yes, I love popping on and just sharing my heart, and then hearing how it affects you, because the holidays are tough. They just are. And so, but it doesn't mean we have to live in that. So I encourage all of you women, whether you're working with me or not, to wake up in the morning, Christmas morning, 3 songs. Go in the bathroom if you're frustrated and have a conversation with the mirror. Have a conversation with your steering wheel. It's okay to be frustrated, because once you move it through you, or to even be excited, you're going to show back up to your family with a lot more love. So wish me luck. I'm going to go in there when I sign off here and go give my husband some love and apologize. And I'm curious how many of you have apologized sometimes for, not for something that you didn't do. I'm not offering that, but just sometimes to go, hey, you know what? I could have actually done that a little differently. That's what I'm going to do. I mean, quite frankly, he could apologize to me too, but he may not. But I'm just going to still show up for him because he deserves that. And he deserves that. And so I think I took that full circle, talking about Larry, seeing the pride in him, talking about everything that he had gone through and such. I Oh, hi, Yvette. I love you. Look who's on. Oh, my goodness. This is so great. Yvette and I met at a Brendan Bouchard event, and she got to meet John too, actually, and we just fell in love with each other. And I've seen her in New York City. She's a love. She's prayed with us, over us, and with us. And what a love. I've met some amazing people in my journey. I'm so blessed to know and have all of you in my life. So, yes, please reach out to me about the sisterhood. Would love to talk to you more. Give yourself the gift of being in this space, where I'm holding space for you for basically an 8-month period and even longer. So I'm looking forward to seeing my Sacred She girls tonight on the call. And I love you all. Thank you for listening to me. And if this touched your heart, just let me know. Guys, just give everybody a break, but also hold your boundaries. Remember what I said about my client. She's showing up with so much discernment and her heart so full, and she views everything through the glasses of, is the world better if I have this conversation? Is the world better if I hold this boundary? Is the world better if I parent from this space? And the world will be better if we show up in our fullness, but not necessarily in this badass boss babe space where we're taking no prisoners. That's okay sometimes, but I mean, how can we show up more fully in love? So, with that said, I'm going to go Control Alt Delete, and I'm going to go love on my husband for a few minutes. See you guys later. Bye. Merry Christmas.